Good evening, my name's Jim Meehan. I'm the bar director of the forthcoming partnership between Submarine Hospitality and Snow Peak here in Portland, Oregon. It's a restaurant called Takibi, and tonight I'm going to make you the perfect cocktail to make in front of your fire. First of all, it's late spring, still a little bit chilly, and a perfect time of the year for an old-fashioned. Tonight I'm going to make one with Portland's own Westward whiskey, a single malt made right here, a barrel-aged maple syrup. This maple syrup has been aged in apple brandy and bourbon barrels. Keep in mind, while maple syrup has a sort of wintry sort of feel to it, that we just got through with sugar season, and the fresh batches of maple syrup are going to be coming to market soon. So maple syrup's actually a spring ingredient, even though it has sort of like wintry connotations. And we could use any bitters. I'm going to use Angostura bitters. This is, I've got it decanted into a Japanese bitters bottle that's perfect because I'm going to get an even dash every time I use it. And this one we're going to garnish with an orange twist. And you could use a lemon twist, any sort of citrus. But a classic old-fashioned is a spirit, sugar, in this case maple syrup, bitters, in this case Angostura, and a twist. And the main technique we're going to be using is stirring. And it looks simple. It sounds simple. I won't overcomplicate it, but all I want you to think about when you're making your own at home is that the purpose of stirring is to chill, it's to dilute, and that means by the ice cubes melting, and it's to not add texture. When we're shaking a drink, all those little micro bubbles are going to add a sort of pleasant frothy texture. When we're stirring, we want it to be perfectly still to maintain the viscosity of the liquid. So to begin with, I'm going to make 2 of these, and I'll explain to you what I've got here. These are our titanium sake cups, which are perfect to split an old-fashioned for my camera woman and I. And instead of making us full cocktails, we're just going to have little cocktails tonight. It's a school night. And then we could call this either a bottled cocktail or a flask cocktail. And I'll save that for tomorrow, or maybe we'll have a little bit more when we're done. So to begin with, since I'm going to make 2 of these, I'm going to add roughly that much Angostura. I like a real bitter, old-fashioned, so I'd say that's around 12 dashes. And then normally I add between 1/4 and 1/2 ounce of simple syrup. Maple syrup is more flavorful, a little bit more rich. So for 2 of them, I'm going to add roughly around 22.5 mils. So right around 3/4 of an ounce for 2 old fashions. And then I'm going to add 4 ounces, or with this little measuring spoon here, 120 mils of whiskey. Whenever I'm making a stir drink, or for instance when I'm making multiple drinks, I like to add all of the ingredients first, and that add ice. And that's because if I have to walk away from the drink for whatever reason, I don't have to worry about dilution. As soon as I start adding ice cubes, I'm quote unquote on the clock, and I have to start thinking about how much dilution is going to be added from the mixture of the ice cubes and the liquid. So for the ice, I'm gonna fill this up roughly nearly to the top. This is a great mixing glass because I don't have to even touch the bowl itself, and I don't have to warm it. So if I need to keep it stable, I'm just gonna hold the base. And for me, for my old fashions, this is a whiskey around 40% ABV or 90 proof. So it's not super strong, but it's also not 40%, which is the lowest proof. So whenever I'm thinking about the old fashioned I'm making, I'm thinking about the strength of the whiskey and trying to figure out whether I need to stir longer to mitigate the strength, or not stir as long because I don't want it to be watered down. So thinking about how you take your old fashions is really important. So I'm going to give this a good sort of 20 or 30 second stir. And then I'm going to set that aside to prepare my orange twists. For these little mini old fashions in the sake cups, I'm going to cut what we call citrus coins. And that's just from the top of the orange with as little pith as possible. So that's ready to go for my camera woman and I will pour pour out our old fashions first. The ice is perfect. It's just in a 1 1/4 by 1 1/4 inch cube that I made from silicone molds. And then I promised that I wouldn't do this, but I think I'm going to try it. The flask comes with a little funnel, but I figured I'm going to give this a try as a older gentleman bartender with astigmatism. We do everything we can to try to keep this craft interesting. Funnel-less bartending, let's just add that as the next level. But I'm going to fill this flask up, trying to spill as little of the whiskey as possible. And then this is going to make an excellent companion either for my wife and I later this evening, for perhaps a walk in the woods tomorrow, or for takibi time. Fits perfect in my jacket. And then for my cocktails for my wife and I, for the coins, you basically just want to hold them straight out so the orange side sticks out, not bending them all until you get them right over. You pinch it right over the surface to get the oils out, and then drop them right in. I'll just do a little quality control before I share with my photographer. I wish you guys the very best this week. Kanpai.